What's up, everyone? It is your girl Gel Beauty 87 here, aka Grace, and today we're gonna get into the new Adept collection. So I got the eyeshadow palette and then 2 of the face palettes to try out. They had 4, but I figured only a certain amount of them would work on me. I don't think I used the code this go around. I usually use, y'all know who, everybody said with me now, code Cage Makeup. As you can see, the packaging on this is superb. She made sure she put in a foam insert and popped it in like this. So this is the face palette in Stella. Yes, it says it on the side. It says Stella Blush Palette. So I'm going to pull it out. I think I have some face palettes to compare to these. Don't quote me. But here's what it looks like on the inside. Yes, it's definitely giving me the shimmery vibe versions of the, what's her name? The, Charlotte Tilbury face palette. So we're definitely going to compare it to that one. I couldn't remember which color looked like what, but I knew I was going to try it out. Oh, so it has the, weight and all that on the sticker, so I'm gonna try to not pull the sticker off so that way I still have all that information on here. So the plastic apparently has to stay on for you to have that information, or I guess you can just go to the website. But the plastic, see, it has like the writing on the back to tell you what is what. But okay, these are what the blushes look like. I'm about to hold it up alongside the what do you call it, the palette from Charlotte Tilbury, the Pillow Talk one. So I feel like it's giving Pillow Talk vibes for sure. I feel like it's a lighter, shimmery version of Pillow Talk vibes, like more like the highlighters in there. So it's more like a shimmery blush vibe for real. Because I feel like this one looks similar, that one to the bottom looks similar, and then this just looks like a matte version of one of the shades. So I figure if I covered up the red shade, see what I'm saying, how the palette looks pretty similar. If you cover up that bright red shade, it looks really similar to this palette. I wanted to point that out because I felt like when I saw this one online, it was going to look similar to my Charlotte Tilbury one, so I'll make sure I do that. I was trying to make sure I do swatches of these on my hand when I come back with the eyeshadow palette. But next, let's get into the next face palette, because remember I told you I ordered 2. So I'm just loving how she made sure that nothing's covered up. It has this little plastic overlay on it, and this is Valentina. So let's see what the Valentina looks like on the inside. So this is just more of like a pinky-ish berry tone type one. I brought the Hourglass palettes to show to these, but once I realized that these were shimmery brushes, I'm like, I feel like they're not gonna really, you know, get to, what do you call it, be able to compare them too well. But I'm gonna show them anyway, even though it's not really shimmer, so I don't really feel like it'd be too helpful. But you know, we can. They're here, we're here, everyone's here. Y'all know the drill. I'm here, you here, we here, everyone's here. So let's go ahead and show up. So yeah, I feel like the shades in this one are similar to the blush shades in here, as you can see. They're giving the vibes of these. So typical shades that work good for my skin tone. But I like for right out the bat, she came out with shades for everyone, so I could appreciate that. And I was here for it. I was like, yes, give it to me. Then I have these, I think the one with the tiger, but I don't think any of the, well, I'll show the shades in here. A couple of them, I guess, look like they could, like the orange right there and that shade right there. I feel like they could be similar, but I think those are supposed to, yeah, and they're supposed to be like shimmery blushes. So there you go. So that's what both of them look like alongside. I'm gonna make sure I swatch the Charlotte Tilbury one though, because I feel like that's the one that has the most similar tones to the Stella palette. And I feel like this one, I'm not really gonna have too many exact shades to it, but I might end up swatching them later. Now let's get to the eyeshadow palette part I'm most excited about. We all know I'm excited about. And then this has a nice thick foam packaging. They have a nice packaging over the top. Now, remember, y'all, I had to order it on pre-order because I was at the Color Factory with my son for his birthday when this palette launched. And then since it didn't launch on time, they had this activity they had you do where you had to draw the person on the other side of you or something like that. I probably shouldn't be spoiling just in case you want to go, but that's what I was doing. And then I looked up and it was like $115. I was like, oh crap, I'm supposed to buy this palette. And it had already like sold out. So this is what she looks like on the inside. Absolutely stunning. I mean, look at it. I am obsessed. It's definitely giving Enhydrant vibes. Like I would easily pair this with Enhydrant and just live for it. Matter of fact, y'all know I had to bring Enhydrant to show it because Enhydrant is one of my favorites. So let me pop up Enhydrant. I also brought the Heather Austin palette to see how similar it was to this. But y'all know I feel like the matte purples in here are what's making me want to use it with Ninhydrin so bad, because Ninhydrin has like more gray mattes to it, and this has the purples, and I'm like, yes, give me the purples. So let me hold it like this. It's hard to show the original one because it's like so reflective, so my apologies if it's not doing the best, but like it's reflective. What do you want from me? I think that actually looks pretty decent. So there you go. This is my all-time favorite Adept palette though, if anyone's curious. Ninhydrin. Ninhydrin is everything. Ninhydrin, Ninhydrin, Ninhydrin. Now we're going to show it against the Heather Austin palette, because I feel like it might be similar to that one, but I don't really reach for this one that much, so I wasn't 100% sure if it was or not. And it was already here, so I was like, it's here, we're here, everybody's here. You know the drill. So that's what they look like together. There you go. So I'm going to go off camera and most likely give y'all a classic like purple lavenderish type look with this palette, because y'all know I just love these colors. But before I do, we'll put on the face stuff real quick. Let me zoom in a little bit more. I'm going to try to use a shade from each palette. I'm not going to use shades from every single palette, but this is the time I'm going to go off camera and actually swatch the Stella palette alongside another palette, and then I will come back and use one shade from Stella and one shade from Valentina, and then we will go into the eyeshadow palette off camera. And that'll give me time to take off my eyeshadow too. Okay, girl? Okay. Okay, y'all, so here are the face palettes. So I did Charlotte, then Adept, Charlotte, Adept, Charlotte, Adept. So this is what the Pillow Talk palette looks like alongside the Stella palette, like I promised. So I'm going to use the highlighter from the Stella palette, and then one of the blushes from the Stella palette, and then I use the Valentina palette. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the Stella highlighter in the middle of the face. I'll put the Valentina blushes on one side, or one blush on one side, and then I'll do the Stella ones on the other side. I'm thinking about only putting none of the Stellas on the face and just doing the Valentino, so that way you can see more than one shade, since you see all the shades at least on my skin tone in the back of my hand here. So I think that's what we're going to end up doing. Yeah, let's do that. So let's get into this highlighter. So it's definitely giving some color and a nice glow from within vibe. But you know I'm here for it, the vibe. I like it. It's that nice, soft, like subtle glow. So if you like that, you definitely like it. Really lightweight powder to pick up. And I feel like you don't have to pick up a lot to get an intense glow and know it's there. It's just more of a glow from within highlighter. So if I was in a glow from within highlighter type mood, I would definitely pick up this. And it's on trend with what people are really looking for right now. So shout out to the owner of Adept. Great job, because people are really into this. Like your skin but better, limited like 2-step, 3-step routine to get ready and go. I mean, that's not my journey, but you know, when you're a brand, you just want to appear to the masses. So I'm glad that she took that in mind and went ahead and did that, so that, you know, that people wouldn't feel left out, because some people don't want too glittery a highlighter and some people don't want, you know, too soft of a highlighter. So I feel like you can build up this highlighter, it seems like, because I feel like I tried to build up on the Cupid's bow a little bit for you all to see that you can build it up, whereas it was quite soft when I started off with. It's hard because I have like later day makeup on, but I feel like it looks pretty prominent on my chin too, considering I didn't put that much on. So it just depends on how much you want. Now for this Valentina palette, we got these 3 shades right here. So I think I'm going to use the 2 darkest ones and save the light one for another time. So I'm going to start off with this one on one side and put this one on the other side. I mainly want to use this palette too because it's closer to the blush shade I already have on. I have on the shade Truth from Rare Beauty that I put on earlier today in a trying a Sephora haul. So now we're just going to lightly put this. Oh, I like this color. I would use this as a highlighter in addition to a blush topper. I feel like this would have been a good blush topper today when I put on the Rare Beauty blush, because since it's a cream one, I feel like it was kind of light. I feel like this powder would just gave it something extra, so I'm definitely liking this blush. Okay, okay, I see you, Rare Beauty. I see you at that. And it's going to be a great combination to add to my Rare Beauty for when I'm on a glowy blush. And I feel like since it's like winter, I can get away with a glowy blush, whereas in summertime, I feel like it would have been an oily mess. So again, I like the fact that she released these close to fall. I don't know if the owner herself has oily skin, but I feel like this was definitely like, you know, I definitely appreciate her including the oily girls by, you know, releasing this closer to the fall when people like me with oily skin could still use the product. So shout out to her on that too. So I'm just like, yes, okay, I see you, man. They said it's supposed to start snowing here in Chicago and I'm not feeling it. Don't appreciate it. It was flurries today while I was doing something. We're taking a deeper shade now on the other end and putting it on top of this. Ooh, okay, I'm really liking these shades. I want to see if any of these shades look similar to Ruby Riches from Fenty, because I feel like this one might look close to it. It's not deep enough though, so I just didn't want to make them too deep so then that everybody couldn't use them. Because I feel like sometimes we make stuff too deep, it wouldn't work. But I feel like she had a good range of palettes when she first came out with. She had like 4 palettes that she came out with. There was 2 that I could use, and then I think there was like 2 I couldn't use. But that means that it included everybody, because if I can use 2 of the 4 you have, then that means there's a good variety, in my opinion. Because I feel like a lot of times, like, people my skin tone get like left out. You get like 1 palette and that's it. But I like the fact that she had more than 1 palette I could use, and I like the fact that some of them have highlighters in addition to blush, so that way if you needed a highlighter on the go along with some shimmery blushes, you can do more than one. Even though I feel like this one in the middle of the Valentina one, like, you might be able to use that as a highlighter, because it seems to be the lightest of the 3. It could be like a rose goldish type highlighter. So I feel like these aren't just blushes. I feel like they can be used as highlighters as well. It just depends on what your preference is. So I like the formula on them. They blend it out nice and smoothly on the face. You can see it's giving a nice simple glow just like it did with the highlighter. So I'm very impressed. I think these were $34 a piece. Don't quote me. I'll try to go on the website while I'm doing my eye and come back and tell y'all all the prices of all the stuff, because you know me, I am not, you know, prepared and as usual. So anyway, I'm gonna go off camera since y'all saw I did my eyes. I took my eyes off. Unfortunately, I'm not gonna have a lower lash line to do for y'all, but I figured you'd be fine with this black lower lash line instead of no lower lash line, because I usually don't do one because, you know, I have other videos to do. But I didn't plan on this showing up today. It said it was gonna show up, I think, Monday. So when it magically showed up today, I was like, oh, okay, I'm here for it. Yes, give it to me. Thank you so much. Matter of fact, while I've been sitting here talking this entire time, I just pulled up their website, so I'll just tell you how much they are now, girl. So this eyeshadow palette was $57. I got the first pre-order. She's on the second pre-order now. And then the face palettes, oh, the face palettes were only 22 bucks a piece, so that's not bad at all for those 3 shades. So yeah, they were 22 bucks a piece, or you can get all 4 of them for $65. Don't forget to use code Cage Makeup when you're checking out. Thank you so much. Okay, so now on to me actually putting this eyeshadow palette on my eyes. It is so stunning, I have no idea, but I feel like I really want to use this shifting shade right here. Selena is just giving everything to me in the pan, and then maybe do like Luna on the back of the eye with the dark color, and then put another shifty shade in the inner corner, because y'all know me, I have to use all the shifty shades. But at the same time, I'm going to use the shade that the palette is named after, which is Minka. So I'm thinking I might use Minka in the inner corner, and we just take these 2, that on my brow bone and that on my lid as well, because they're just too stunning, and y'all know I love purple. So if she puts a purple in here, I am going to use it. Anyway, I'm gonna go for real. Okay, so here's the look I came up with. I used pretty much all the shades I said I was gonna use. So I used these 3 here. Then I used Luna and Minka, the name of the palette. So let's get into it. Sorry about my discoloration of my eye, but that look I had on, since it's like a red pigment involved, that's why it looks so dark and grungy. So I guess it worked to my advantage, because I'm liking the way this lavender looks, but I feel like it's not looking true to color. So I'll probably swatch on the back of my hand so you can see what it truly looks like, instead of being mixed in with what's going on now. And I'm gonna probably recreate this look tomorrow if I don't like the way the thumbnails look tonight when I go to work, so you'll get to see what it truly looks like without staining on my lid. So I apologize for that, but I literally ran out of like makeup wipes, and then the new ones my mom gave me, I guess she had them sitting in her room too long, because they're like really dry, and they're usually like, well, wetter than that. I know people don't like the M words, so I was like wetter than that, as opposed to what, you know, the average person would say. So it's kind of like, oh, it actually looks about the same, even swatched on my hand. The purple shade or something, it's kind of giving off like a deeper grayish, purpley lilac type shade. So that's what it looks like on its own. I just wanted you to see without it being on my eyes, but I feel like it looks about the same regardless of like that other shade, which is interesting because I thought it wasn't. So that was the shade Toya. Now we're gonna go into the shade Maria. This is a dark purple. I'm so happy she gave a dark purple, because like, y'all, you do not know how much I'm gonna be pairing this palette with Anhydrine now, just because I have a dark purple in one of her palettes. Now I will say the shade Luna, it's kind of like a really putty shade, so you have to I have to actually tap it on my finger. I'm gonna do it with the brush on camera since I don't have to do any more looks, but it's like with the brush I use the glitter glue on, when I have to do like 2 and 3 looks and I just have a brush dedicated to glitter glue, the last thing I want to do is like try to pick up with the product with it after that. So we'll do it with the glitter glue and see how it looks versus me just doing it with my finger. Or maybe I'll do one dab with my finger so you can see what it looks like with that versus how much more I'll get with a brush. I feel like she worked on her matte formula too, because I feel like this dark purple is blending out really nicely and it's giving a good amount of pigmentation. And I didn't necessarily feel that way about the ones in the Heather Austin palette, so I'm definitely feeling like the mattes have improved. Maybe it's just me, but I feel like these have improved some than Hydrogen and Codaine days. Not that the pink in there was bad. I actually reached for that hot pink in the Codaine palette a lot. I feel like these are definitely, and I'm liking the fact that the purple has that dark grungy feel to it. I really like that because it looks nice over the brow bone, and in the crease with this eye look, it worked out perfectly. Like I was hoping it would, since I don't have that many shades to choose from when it comes to mattes. It's like literally just the two on the end, but since she picked these awesome shades, I don't have to worry about, you know. I'm just taking a clean brush and dusting it here. This is E40 Max from Sigma, and I'm so excited because my girl Karen Harris here on YouTube has a collab with Sigma, so she got to pick out some of her favorite Sigma products in a box like they do with a lot of other influencers. So I am so excited and happy for Karen. So make sure you go check out her collab. I think she said it launched yesterday. I'm pretty sure she said it launched Friday. I don't know if you can use her code Cage Makeup or not, but I know she does have a code. You can go ahead and try it out. Why not? Because you know, it's not like it still won't be going towards to help her. So I figure like when they do collabs with YouTubers, I feel like they should leave their code on. So if you do want to get a discount, they can still get a kickback of the discount that you got. So the money will still go into their pockets. But you know, that's just a me thing. I know certain brands did that. Like I think Kaleidos did it with Angie, or was it Davina that she did her collab with where they did it? I know it's one of Angie's collabs that they did it with. Oh right. So we're gonna start with the shade Luna. That's what it looks like. It's giving a cool dark gunmetalish type vibe with like blue and purples with like a lot of silver reflect to it. So I'm just tapping it on now so you can see what it looks like. I'm not trying to shape it too much because I told y'all we're gonna go in with the glitter glue brush after this and do that whole situation. I just want you to see how I had to do it off camera by tapping it in my finger in order to get the pigmentation, because it wasn't picking up on the brush I was trying to use because it didn't have glitter glue attached to it, because this seems to be one of those putty flaky type formulas like a Super Shock from ColourPop. I know she does that a lot, and I really like the way they look wet and metallic on the lid. So it looks nice on the lid, it's just it's not the easiest to pick up on a brush. So that's just something that you need to keep in mind if you go into this palette. So now we'll cut the crease and do more detail. See how much more pigmented that is using the brush as opposed to just using my finger, but I couldn't initially because I needed to be able to put glitter glue on this side, and we're trying to preserve the brushes, girl, not use them all. So as you see, this side isn't as metallic and foily, so I'm actually gonna add some more here. My battery is dying, y'all, so I'm gonna go off camera and probably put the rest of this on, then I'll come back and put the shade Selena in the front on with you all, but I don't want the battery to die and then I lose my footage. So this is what you're working with when it comes to Luna. Now I'm gonna go off camera and get a battery and then we'll try on Selena. Okay, girl? Okay. Woo. Okay, y'all. So got my new battery. Now let's put on the shade Selena. This one is easy to pick up on the brush I was initially using. And look how stunning that shade is. Like, oh my goodness. Like, look at that. It looks amazing. Initially made me think of, what is it, Sextrovert, or what do they call it, from Pat McGrath, but I'm like, no, it's not giving that. I mean, in the pan it looks like that, but I feel like on the eye it's giving something totally different. And you know, I'm here for it and available, so great. Thank you so much. And I feel like this was a unique combination of shimmers, because I feel like the average person would put like a silver in the front or one of the deeper shimmers, but I wanted like that true weird transition and shift I always tell you about with doing dual chromes and trio chromes and making your own by putting on two different shades on the lid. So I feel like this will be like the ultimate multi-chrome, dual chrome, trio chrome situation, because it's like two vastly different shifting things at one time on the lid. So I was like, yes. So I'm gonna take a little bit more of Luna and pop it in between these two to make it look more uniformed and transition a little bit better. So just like so. And I feel like that just transitions so much easier. Now I feel like I need to fix this eye a little bit. Hold up. Put a little more Selena. So that's what I'm working with. I feel like it's a little more sling on the other eye, so just a little bit more sling on top of here to make it as even as possible. Okay, so I feel like we're looking pretty even and fair now, I guess. I still feel like there's something more on this side than it is on this side, but it could just be because my eyes are two different shapes. I'm feeling that way. Might not even be true, girl. Might not even be true. As you can see, I put on a cute little brown eyeliner. But let's back on up and talk about my thoughts on this collection as a whole. Because the face palettes came out before the eye palette, but I just ended up waiting and buying everything together. So I'm in love with this palette. Like, these shimmers are amazing. Let me swatch some of the other ones. Oh wait, I didn't put the shade Minka in the inner corner. So sorry. It's like more one of those flaky putty shades as well, so it's hard to pick it up on my brush, but zoom in real quick. And let's put it in the inner corner real quick. As you can see, it's giving quite the glittery and flaky, more like topper-esque type vibe. So I don't know how many more times I use this in the inner corner, because as you can see, it's giving quite this like glittery sparkle. And I feel like this is more for your inner, for topper shade on your lid, not necessarily for your inner corner, because of the amount of glitter flakes that are coming out of it just by me trying to pick it up on this brush. I don't know. I mean, I feel like this looks stunning overall though. But now let's talk about my thoughts. So I'm in love with the palette, like I said. Like, I love it. All these sparkly, gorgeous shades. Let me swatch some other shades I didn't use. Let's see, let's swatch Linda. It's looking like a nice transitioning dual chrome full chrome shade. Then I'll do Ava. A nice cool silvery gunmetal. And I feel like this would be good to have the shade. Okay, y'all, so I swatched some of the shades I didn't use on my eyes just for you to get an idea of what the palette looks like. Y'all know that's the matte shade that I used. I swatched the shade. This one is Cora. This one is Minka, the one that's in my inner corner. This one is Ava. And then this one is Linda. So those are the other shades that I feel like swatching in the palette, but I'm really impressed with this palette. I don't know where I got cut off. I looked up and it was full when I was swatching, so I'm hoping we're on the same page now. But I really like this palette. I think the matte formula has gotten better. Just keep in mind with a lot of these shimmery shades, you're gonna have to use the glitter glue. You might have to press them on the lid, or make sure your brush is sticky with glitter glue, or you wet your brush when you pick it up to make sure that it'll go on the lid. Because y'all saw I had to press it in with my fingers, and y'all saw when I rubbed it in the inner corner versus how it looks when I just swatched it with my finger. So you have to keep that in mind when using this palette, that you don't have to, you know, use the glitter glue with a lot of these shimmers on your lid if you want any kind of impact or anything them stick and give the like shine or pass that you see going on in my eyes. But I'm thoroughly impressed with the palette. Like I said, I feel like the mattes are getting better, and they say it's hard to make matte purples, but I feel like the matte purple in here is really nice and went on nice and blended out nice. It did an excellent job. I like the face palettes as well. What I put this? I think I already packed the face palettes up. I like those face palettes as well though. I'll definitely be doing swatch comparisons of them and putting comparisons of them on a YouTube Shorts, a IG, and a TikTok coming soon. I did the Retro Glam palette already, but I need to redo it because it was kind of dark outside, so I'm hoping to be lighter before I go to work tomorrow and I can do it. But if not, I'll just have to run with the reel I have, and hopefully the colors won't be too distorted for you. I'm gonna try to do this one tomorrow as well. I don't have too many things to compare this to in my collection though, which to me is good, because that means she didn't copy off a whole bunch of people. Like, to me, this is definitely a unique palette. I feel like she tries to come up with a lot of unique color stories, and the majority of the time I feel like she does an excellent job with that, so I don't have too much to compare if y'all haven't noticed, because I feel like she's pretty unique with stuff. Let me see. Here. Yes, I was gonna try to compare it to Glaminatrix, what's that one called? The Nocturnal palette, but it didn't look anything similar to it. But I do have that here to compare to another palette. So anyway, I really like the palette. Bottom line, I would recommend you get it, but y'all know I love me an Adept palette. If you love a whole bunch of shimmers and you're not big on having a lot of mattes, then I feel like this is definitely a brand you need to check out, because they give you gorgeous, amazing shimmers and hardly any mattes, so you can always put a gorgeous shimmer on the eye, put your bronzer in your crease if you're that type of person, and run out the door and do what needs to be done, and you will look fabulous with one of their palettes. So those are my thoughts. I'm happy about the face palettes. If you like that soft glow from within look that's become really popular right now, 5-minute makeup and stuff like that, then I feel like those face palettes would be good for you, especially the Stella one, because it looks really similar to the Charlotte Tilbury, and it's only 22 bucks, and you got 2 glowy blushes and a highlighter to choose from. So if you're a glowy brush girl, you can pick between the 2 glowy blushes in there, throw that highlighter on, and be good to go. So I liked all the stuff I tried, and I can't wait to see if she comes out with some bronzers and powder blushes or highlighters or more face products. Basically, I'm excited to see those, and I'm excited to see if she comes out with more palettes that have a couple more mattes in them, because I mean the 2 mattes are fine, but you know, like I'd like to have 4 mattes. So hopefully she'll come up with some palettes with 4 mattes in the future. But that's the only thing I have to say. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. Remember, you all are diamonds. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Be blessed, girl. Bye.